Sorry, let me put this on so I look like one of those guys in an aircraft. This is your captain speaking. Welcome to flight number 556 to JFK. If you're flying to JFK, then you're in the right place. If you're flying to San Francisco, then you're about to have a very long evening. How was that? Anyway, that was just scripted. Just ignore me. So landing is basically accomplished by slowing down the aircraft and undertaking to reduce its speed so it descends to the runway. So for this one, I'm gonna be plain and simple. So in a little while, I'm gonna explain the landing procedure of an aircraft. So you've boarded an aircraft from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, for example, and flown for hours. You're jet lagged, and all you can think is just getting out of this thing and having some coffee and good sleep.
Gear down, please.
Caution, terrain.
Speed check.
Caution,
Speed is good.
terrain.
Gear is coming down.
So the aircraft approaches Amsterdam International Airport, and you cannot wait to have the plane touch down. Then an announcement comes at the overhead console that you should buckle down and that the aircraft is gearing up for landing. You've been cruising for hours and now you're descending. And you start wondering, how the hell is this tube going to land? A tube managing about a weight of about 125,000 pounds. I mean, when you just imagine the amount of cargo and 191 passengers, 12 cabin crew, and 4 pilots, for example, it's just ridiculous how this thing is gonna touch down without something close to a free fall. Well, folks, it's simple math. If you're a pilot and you have 10,000 hours of flight, this is a piece of cake. Pre-planning is vital though. In any case, Noah and to prepare his hack long before the landing took place.
Flaps that go off, landing taxi lights.
Terrain.
Flap 60.
Terrain. Terrain. Pull up.
Flaps rolling.
Pull
60. Flap 60 set.
Terrain.
Get out before landing checklist.
Pull up.
Your landing gear. Here's downstream range.
Terrain.
Landing lights.
Pull up.
They are
Pull
on.
up.
Prop sync is on.
Terrain.
Autopilot yaw damper disengaged. Ignition. Armed. Flaps.
Terrain.
Bring back to full flaps now.
Pull up.
Okay, full flaps.
Terrain. Terrain. Pull
Flaps are full and back at the stop. Speed levers.
Caution. Terrain.
They are full forward.
Caution.
Before landing check is
Terrain.
complete.
Caution, terrain. Caution, terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Pull up. Pull up. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Pull up. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Pull up.
So you are 15 miles from Amsterdam Airport runway 27, approximately 3,000 feet above the ground. The pilot must now line up with the runway. He sets the aircraft at a speed appropriate for the wake turbulence. That is one. The landing configuration should be set well. That is the landing gear down. The flaps should be aligned to fly the aircraft slower, and the nose configured for landing. So what next for the pilot? What he does is that he's going to play around with the control stick, or the so-called yoke, moving it left and right with the feet on the rudder pedals, very much like a driver who is steering a car. So the pilot then gets to about 50 feet and starts slowing the rate of descent. But how is this done? By gently pulling back the control stick. Now you might ask yourself, how does pulling back the yoke slowly slow down the aircraft? The answer is simple. It deflects the relevant control surfaces in the direction relative to the wind in a way that drag is induced, therefore slowing down the aircraft. And this is a subject that I'm gonna deal with a little later. The mechanics of flight. What makes the aircraft fly? How these control surfaces work to keep the aircraft in air and so on. The pilot then pulls a little more and more, and that's gonna allow the aircraft settle down on the runway fast on its main wheels. And by main wheels, I mean the bogie at the back. I mean the big wheels at the back. And note, at this point, the throttles are all the way back. You don't want thrust here. Drag is your friend, so no addition of forward thrust. The pilot then relieves the pressure just a little bit on the control wheel and lets the nose gently touch the ground so that the front wheel touches the ground gently. Okay, remember, the bogie should touch the ground first and then comes the nose wheel. If the plane has the ability to use what is termed as reverse thrust, then the pilot should engage this one here. It comes in handy. It comes in handy here. And this allows deflection. Reverse thrust basically allows the deflection of thrust forward instead of backwards. Remember, when we are flying, we deflect the thrust backwards so the aircraft is pushed forward. At this particular juncture, when you engage the reverse thrust, you deflect the thrust forward so that that mechanism actually increases drag and helps slow down the aircraft. Then bingo, you are on the landing position. The pilot now starts using the feet on the brakes and the rudder pedals to steer the aircraft along a straight line whilst reducing its speed. And then the aircraft slowly comes to a halt, after which the pilot taxis on the runway and comes to a stop. So you alight the aircraft through the boarding gates to the arrival section of the airport. Easy peasy, we just landed an aircraft. For those who have been able to subscribe to my channel, thank you so much for that gesture. And for those who have not done so, please hit the subscribe button below so you can support the channel. And tell a friend to tell a friend. So until the next one, thank you so much. Goodbye.
Oh.